statements being made. Game 4 between the Thunder and the Spurs. And very early on in this game, you got a real feeling as for who was going to take over. Early first quarter, Spurs were down one skinny little point. Chet Holmgren cutting inside. Oh, Wemby. Oh, the love is there. Wemby rejecting him at the basket. Like I said, setting the tone early. Then Stephon Castle lobbing it to Wemby. He's doing the offensive side of things. Now Spurs up one. The lead would just really grow out of there. One might say it gets out of hand. Castle, the three. Spurs up 8. Castle pushing it up. Now finds Devin Vassell for another 3. He made 2 of those, and the lead is now 11. A minute later, friend of the program, Jared McCain working inside. No! Vassell blocks him. Gonna find Wemby. This is a ridiculous spurt. Wemby gets that, which is part of a 16-0 run by the Spurs. They were up 9 after just one quarter. We go to the second quarter. Thunder down 41-34. Cason Wallace. Nope, that's a miss. Holmgren there for the tip, but it's only a 5-point game. Spurs, they get the ball back. Wemby takes it back to 7. Then the closing seconds of the half. Like, you know Wemby can do it, but when he's doing it like this, pulling up at half court, he wanted that. 40 feet out. That is the longest make of his career. Wemby had 22 points in the first half. The Spurs, courtesy of that one, led 50-38 at the break. Now we go to the third, because that's how this works. And it's early. Spurs are up 9. Castle. Getting some help from Wemby there. There's a 12-point Spurs lead after the free throw. Defense into offense, more of that. Castle with the defense, going to find Wemby. Wemby with the slam. I mean, sit back and enjoy. Coming in hot. Spurs up 18. Take that to 22. Vassell jumps the Holmgren pass. Dylan Harper lobs it to Castle. Castle, boom. Late in the third, Harper with the offensive rebounds, laying it in. That gave the Spurs a 25-point lead. That is their largest against the Thunder this season. If you're curious what happened in the fourth quarter, the answer is not much from the Thunder. Castle with another steal. Gets it to Wemby, who had 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks. The Spurs win 103-82. They tie the series to go back to OKC.
When you play. For some more perspective on the Spurs win here in Game 4, bringing in Stephen A. Smith. And Steve, it felt like San Antonio lost that home court advantage they stole in Game 1 as fast as they got it with their Game 3 loss at home. But what type of statement did they make to come back and even this series tonight?
Honestly speaking, I don't think they made much of a statement. One team came to play, the other team did not. When you look at Oklahoma City, you know, you got to give San Antonio credit from the standpoint that they recognized the urgency of the moment, and they were led by Victor Wembanyam, who dropped about 33, and he obviously was a force. But there's not many nights that you're going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder shooting about 15% from three-point range and about 30% from the field. And a lot often, they had some open shots, and they just weren't making them. They were flat all night. They didn't come to play. They came and showed up like a team that had handled their business in Game 3, so we don't have to have the urgency in Game 4 that we had in Game 3, and they played like it. So I thought they were flat tonight. It would be one thing if they came out and they was making shots and then San Antonio put the clamps on them or what have you, but they were missing shots all night long. Nobody looked the way they normally look, including SGA. And Chet Holmgren has been a virtual no-show throughout most of this series, so that hasn't helped either.
Well, considering how well they played in Game 3 after being down 15-0 to come back and win that game, and their championship medal going back to last season, how surprising are you that they were so flat in Game 4?
I am a little bit surprised because they're champions and they know what it takes. But you got to remember, I was covering the Western Conference Finals last year when Minnesota rolled up on them and beat them by 40. I think it was like in Game 3. They were up by as many as 44 points. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander walked off the court with a smile on his face, clapping like there was absolutely no concern whatsoever. And then they came back the next game and they beat Minnesota. So they tend to have these games from time to time where they're a bit flat. There's no denying that. But you did expect them, considering how tough they know San Antonio to be, considering the fact that they had San Antonio on its heels after winning Game 3. You didn't expect them to come out and be as flat as they were, but they just were. It just happened.
All right, so now it's a 3-game series. Wemby goes for 30-plus in Game 4. Now they got to go on the road to try to get home court advantage back. What are you expecting from him in that game, considering what he did here in Game 4?
Well, I think it's going to be a physical matchup in Game 5. There's an urgency at the moment. Oklahoma City does not want to go back to San Antonio down 3-2-5, Game 5. You don't want to say it's a must-win because you saw them win Game 3, and they are the reigning defending champions. But nevertheless, it's going to be an important game. You don't want to go back to San Antonio down 3-2, in my opinion. And so if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, you've got to be ready. Art Stein is going to play a pivotal role because the physicality that he's going to try to throw in Wemby's direction is something that he's gotten away with in a couple of wins this season in this playoff series, and maybe he'll be able to get away with it again in Game 5. If you're San Antonio, you've got to offset that. In my opinion, one of the things they might want to consider to do is making sure you consistently have a big out there with Wembanyama, get him off the 5, not subjecting him to the level of physicality that you know they're going to throw in his direction. Have somebody else as a big body to preoccupy some space on the front line and use Wemby as a 4 or dare I say even a 3 since he's got that skill set. I think those are the kind of things that will facilitate a level of success. They got to take that into consideration, but we'll see what they ultimately do. In the end, however, San Antonio has regained some momentum because they go to Oklahoma City knowing if they're able to win Game 5, then you've got a big-time problem because then Oklahoma City would have to go back to San Antonio down 3-2 instead of up 3-2, and that's going to really put them on their heels. So Game 5 is definitely pivotal for both teams, but in my opinion, especially OKC.
And it goes down.
When you play 12 playoff games, they're not all going to be masterpieces. So as much as you want to win, there's nights where you just don't have it for whatever reason. And so maybe it was one of those nights, but you also can't throw it away. You have to look at the process in a clear-eyed manner and see what corrections you can make. And I think some of the turnovers and some of the shooting was a result of the way we played and a result of the way they defended. I'd never take away credit from them when they played the way they did, but it's a little bit of both probably. It wasn't our night, but at the same time, we could have been a lot better, and we need to be a lot better in Game 5 when we want to compete in the game.
Vic, to your right, those of us who watched you kind of mess around shooting half-court shots after shoot-arounds and practices, it doesn't seem like you make a whole lot of those when you're messing around. What did you think leading into that one, going into halftime?
I was just thinking shoot to score. I wasn't messing around at halftime.
Said he's really enjoying the adjustments, and I was curious for you in your first playoffs, how much have you enjoyed the game-to-game adjustments as a chess player yourself? How would you compare it?
There's definitely similarities, as in any strategy game. It's fun. It's very fun. In the playoffs, at some point, especially when a series drags on, everybody knows the other team almost by heart. So it's different. I would say the coaches hold a lot of this load of the chess match. The coaching staff, all the strategy. It's a lot. They do a lot of film. They work really hard.
Vic on the right, you said when you were sitting there the other day, we're going to find out what we're made of in this game. So one, did you wonder what the answer to that would be, and what did you find out tonight?
I didn't really wonder, no, because we didn't do nothing unexpected. But the truth is that we had never been in this kind of situation before. It was our first deficit in the playoff series. And we just responded, but it was nothing amazing. It wasn't magic. We just did what we needed to do, and the series is far from over. We got 6 more wins before we can rest.
In the first quarter, Devin had that block of McCain. Mm-hmm. Then he comes down court and feeds you for a lob dunk. Does that kind of sum up how good he's been on both ends in this series and in the whole playoffs?
It's hard to sum it up with just one play because his impact has been all over the floor on all kinds of areas and off the floor as a leader. So summing up his impact with just this play would not be fair to him.
Vic, after the last game, you said you needed to do a better job of essentially helping your teammates, and everyone around the team kind of says that you're hard on yourself. I'm wondering where that comes from, and then, how do you manage the last 48 hours in your first playoff run and not letting that get to you?
I don't know if I'm hard on myself. We all have high standards, and I know I have a lot of responsibilities, but I'm here for it. And yeah, it was better today. It wasn't perfect, but we all of us. I'm talking like the whole organizations. We're gonna have to do things that we didn't sign up for. I think I'm an employee to play basketball, but I'm not an employee to talk to whoever and find out answers to. We're all going to do things like that, and that's why, as I was saying, I need to find ways to impact the game in many areas.
Offensively tonight, Vic, how much of tonight was reacting to what the Thunder were doing defensively, and how much of it was you deciding from a certain moment, at the start of a possession, what you wanted to do and then kind of dictating it that way?
It was a little bit of both. It's a balance we got to keep in. It's a balance that I think we had kind of wrong in earlier in this series.
You got to spend the last 8.5 minutes of the game on the bench because you guys were ahead by so much. Is that helpful to you at this point in the series to grab that much rest?
Yeah, of course. We'll get anything we get, any advantage, any edge, so we're going to use that. We need to rest.
All right, Kendrick Perkins joins us now for some much-needed perspective on this series. And look, Perk, you've been in these games before. You know how momentum can go back and forth. For the Spurs, considering they won game 1, they lose 2, now they come back and win game 4, what's been the common denominator in their wins here?
That guy we just got through listening to. And my grandparents used to always tell me, he's young, but he got an old soul, baby. And that's what we just watched, and
Yes.
that's what we just listened to in that interview. And when you talk about leadership, that's the true definition of leadership. See, Wemby is not afraid of getting uncomfortable. He's not afraid of holding himself accountable and maxing out. And tonight what we saw was a response that we expected. We saw him be a big man first and then show guard skills. When he come out with that mindset of I'm going to dominate the paint on both ends of the floor, the Spurs are unbeatable. But when he comes out and he's timid and he's soft and he's trying to do other things that's not being Wemby type things, and that means being the most dominant player in the league, then they struggle. But tonight was one of those nights. And I also look at the 5 assists. When you're able to get yours and make guys around you better, that's called growth and that's called leadership.
And that's what he said he needed to do better after game 3.
The interesting thing here is what they did to the Thunder, because so much of that game felt like the Thunder just couldn't do anything. Nothing was falling. What were the Spurs doing? Why couldn't they hit anything?
You saw them dogs out there. And it started with Stephon Castle. I didn't know whether to call him a Doberman or a pit bull, the way they sicked him on SGA today. And he the one that really, yes, Wemby was the best player on the floor, but Stephon Castle actually set the tone from the jump with his physicality. To be honest, I have never seen anybody in the league be able to guard SGA 101 like we're witnessing right now in Stephon Castle. That wasn't a lot of doubling coming. That was me and you, mano a mano. Everything was tough. The catches was tough. Him getting the ball, SGA trying to get the ball up the floor was tough. He was challenging his shots without fouling. He kept them off the free throw line. All across the board, I thought Stephon Castle tonight was the unsung hero of this game, while Wemby was the best player on the floor.
Yeah, young fellow was not scared of the moment or the assignment in that regard.
Yeah.
Game 5 coming up Tuesday in Oklahoma City. It is pivotal because it's now just a 3-game series.
They're
Perk.
all pivotal.
Oh, yeah. Perk, appreciate you, brother. Center is Devin Vassell. And Devin, look, man, I thought, considering how you guys lost game 2 on the real after being up 15 and then losing by 15, it was going to say a lot about how you guys responded here in game 4. Well, I think you answered that question. From a mental standpoint, what was your guys' approach considering what had happened in game 3?
We knew we could be a lot better. We messed up on a lot of coverages, and we've been playing really slow. So we were just trying to get out, avoid their pressure, and dominate the paint, honestly.
When you have conversations in the locker room after the game that you had, before going into this one, what are those conversations like between the team to get you in the right mindset to go out and do what you did tonight?
I mean, we feel like we've been here before. I mean, we've been down before. We're a very resilient team, so we knew we had to respond in front of our home crowd, of course, and with all that energy, so we were ready to go.
You're playing a team that won the championship last year, and they were playing really well coming into this series, but obviously you matched up against them very well in the regular season as well. From your opponent, Devin, what certain things can you pick up from how they do things in a series like this that you can apply to your own game and be successful against them?
Just being ultra aggressive. I think they're a super physical team. They get away with a lot, so we try to use that against them too. We're trying to be ultra physical, beat them up, speed them up, cause turnovers, and get out in transition.
Hold on, was that a dig? You said they get away with a lot? Was that a little dig there? A little something? Okay.
I mean, look, it's the NBA playoffs. They get a lot. They get away with it. We get away with it. So they can't call everything.
There was a lady sitting courtside tonight who came with a fake little mini Oscar that she held up, Devin. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't see that.
Every time she thought SGA flopped, she held up a little Oscar. Did you see it?
I think San Antonio has the craziest fans. They come up with the craziest stuff for sure.
That is tremendous. And defensively, you guys were able to shut them. I mean, there was a point where it felt like they couldn't get anything to hit.
They shot 33%.
And nothing from 3. What was it that you guys did that you thought was the defensive, just the linchpin?
Long film sessions. Long film sessions. You don't want to get chewed out no more. We just felt like we were leaving them open way too much. We weren't rotating how we were supposed to. So we cleaned that up and had a really good defensive game.
Devin, we appreciate you stopping by to talk to us after that one. Congratulations, and we'll see you again in a couple nights.
Thank you, guys.
The Thunder 2-2. Now, after that disappointing loss at home in Game 3, Shaq was on Inside the NBA, and he said the Spurs' response needed to be led by Wemby.
I'm going to need Wemby to do more. Game 1, he had 41-24, they won. Game 2, 21-26. It's not enough. And I can say that as Lord Supreme of all big men.
Lord Supreme. He has the best titles for himself. All right, so how did Wemby respond? After Game 3, he said he needed to be a better overall teammate and help his guys get better. Well, it started there on the defensive end with that big block, and then how about that move? And then follows up his miss. Just all the things. And then right before the half, this is what everyone will remember from this game. I mean, that's a straight jump shot from half court. He had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks in the first half. That's almost identical to his stat line from all of Game 3. But more importantly, his team had a 12-point lead at the break, third quarter. Stephon Castle with the lob over 2 defenders and 1. The double-digit lead would increase. Wemby, 33 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks. First Spur with those numbers in a playoff game since Tim Duncan back in 2008. We head to Game 5 Tuesday in OKC.
Have so many people responsible for how your offense in particular runs, but is part of Victor becoming like one of those great players to feel that obligation? It's like it's his responsibility to set that tone.
You know, I think a lot of people would say that, and regardless of that, I think that's what he wants. I think he wants that responsibility and to be in the lead there, and he's built for it. When you get into these series, we spoke pregame about the chess match, and you can get into a little bit of a whirlwind in terms of, do I adjust and counter, or do I just want to do it better? And both answers are right when you talk about them in a meeting room. And those guys have done a great job of executing a little bit of both. And I thought tonight was probably their best performance, maybe of the year, because of the circumstances of just being better at a lot of things.
4 in San Antonio.
Yeah, they just punched us in our face early. it's 2 games in a row they've come out the aggressors. Last game we were able to course correct. Tonight we just didn't do so. Yeah, we gotta do a better job of starting the games. Obviously, it's a little bit more challenging when you're on the road, and we know that. But we got to go out there and do it if we want to win games, especially against a team that good.
Never really found a rhythm or consistent rhythm tonight. What do you feel like the biggest issue was?
Like I think they just did a good job of being the aggressors. Like they were in us, forcing turnovers, being physical, and I don't think we applied the pressure back. And then like they're playing fast, getting easy buckets. They get their defense set, and like I don't care who you play, it's always harder to score against a set defense. So it's just like it's a snowball effect. But it always starts with like the aggression that you play with, and then they brought it on a way higher level than we did for most of the game.
A year ago, when you win the championship, you guys didn't have every game great. I mean, like tonight was not a great game, but you guys win last year, even with that in the rearview mirror. Are there things you learn and take with you as you look to recover from this moving forward, or just things maybe holistically about the way you guys do business that you think helps you to leave this in the rearview mirror again?
Yeah, I mean, whether you win or lose, you want to learn the lessons from the game. And when you lose, they're a little bit louder. The lessons are a little bit louder, and that's just how we view it. Like you want to learn through the wins, but sometimes you lose, and you gotta get better. In a series, that's what it's about: getting better and being better when you're done the series and you were to start the series and giving yourself a chance. That's what we focus on.
Do you take any solace knowing that you get the split, or is this too much of a bad feeling to think that way?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a fact. The series is 2-2 and basically 0-0 in its first of 2 games now. So yeah, that I mean, it's not at the front of our mind, but it is a fact, and it is the reality of where we are. So.
You talked before about priding yourself on making your teammates better. Just what are some things you think you can do to help get Chet a little bit more involved offensively?
Yeah. I mean, Chet's an easy target to find, so probably just like find him more in the dunker or when he's spacing. Just put him in better positions to use his strengths as an offensive talent. I don't know exactly what that looks like, just because like I just got done playing, but watching film, we'll find ways for sure.
You mentioned that when he first walked through the doors, you could tell he had that mindset of wanting to constantly get better, but specifically in the face of adversity, what have you seen out of him throughout the years in terms of the way he responds from maybe a performance that doesn't meet his standards?
Yeah, Chet doesn't care about anything besides winning. He's going to do what it takes to win, and that's his biggest skill and his biggest strength. No ego, no agenda, no nothing besides trying to go out there and win. And I have no doubt in my mind that Chet will go out there and get a game his all and put his full effort. And that's all you can ask from the guys. Go out there and give it their all and see where it takes them.
Shea, what can you guys do to generate more offense when you're missing 2 of your 3 primary creators?
Yeah, it changes things. Play through the bigs a little bit more. Yeah, and I mean, guys have different strengths out there, and like you said, 2 of our like handler creators are out, but guys are good off the ball, and we've played a fair amount of games this year with no handlers, so we'll be a little bit used to that. But I mean, regardless, I think it's just a snowball effect. Like I think like when you come out with the right energy, like things like that work out, and the offense has flow. And I don't think we came out with the right energy today. And then, like I just said, just trickled down. And then we were stagnant both ends. They were the aggressor. They were forcing turnovers. Like it's easy to blame like the offense, but like to me, it always starts with like the energy and effort you put forth.
Yeah, Shay, you guys have plenty of experience with series being tied 2-2. How do you focus on that experience, but also realizing that this is a different challenge?
Yeah, every series is different, but we have to continue to get better and be relentless in that pursuit, and that's what it's about. That's what we've done in the past, and it's worked for us, and it would be silly not to do the same.
When you look at their defense, obviously everybody talks about Wemby first, but what kind of impact does Steph Castle make on that end of the floor for them?
Yeah, they have multiple guys that are tenacious. They get into the ball, and then they have Wemby behind them, and they know that, and they use that to their strength. So, yeah, they're obviously a really good defense. They've been a really good defense all year, and to score on them is going to take like quick decisions.